5 ridiculously unnecessary scientific studies. Number 5. Monkeys can't type. The study, testing the infinite monkey theorem. According to the laws of probability, if an infinitely large group of monkeys is given an infinite number of typewriters and infinite time, eventually they'll create the entire works of Shakespeare. This is known as the infinite monkey theorem. Completely misunderstanding the theory, a group of researchers in England gave 6 monkeys one typewriter, which inspired them to create one broken typewriter covered with poop. It started out well. The lead male got a stone and started bashing the hell out of it, according to one of the researchers. Another thing they were interested in was in defecating and urinating all over the keyboard. Eventually though, the monkeys got the hang of it, and at the end of the experiment they had created 5 pages of the letter S. But, after a week or two the monkeys would get excited when a letter appeared in response to something they had typed, which shows that they might have had some very basic understanding of the cause and effect of what they were doing. And that's actually pretty cool. Number 4. San Franciscans have a lot of sex. The study, Trojan U.S. 2011 Sex Census. Not satisfied with your sex life? Move to San Francisco. According to the 2011 Sex Census, a phrase invented and exclusively used by people at Trojan Condoms, people who live in San Francisco have more sexual partners than anybody else in the country, with an average of 30 partners per person. Based on that math, you've had sex with everybody else on your block, and so has everybody else on your block. However, if you're looking for frequency, you'd have better luck in Los Angeles, where residents average 135 adult hugs each year, because what else are you going to do in all that traffic? But in all seriousness, this might be the most poorly conducted study in recent history. Only 2,000 people were surveyed, 200 in each of 10 cities, representing about 0.00064% of the entire U.S. population. Beneath everything, it's really just an attempt to get people interested in a certain brand of condoms. Number 3. Necrophiliac Ducks. The study, the first case of homosexual necrophilia in the mallard Anis platyrincos. Dutch scientist C.W. Moelicker is most well known in the scientific community for being the first person to prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that ducks have homosexual intercourse with other duck corpses. This was not a planned study, simply an observation that he made outside his window one morning, before writing up a full case study of the event and submitting it to a well-respected scientific journal. After hearing a crash, Moelicker walked to the window and noticed a mallard lying outside that had apparently flown into the window. Then, and this is the important part, a second mallard swooped down and mounted the corpse and started to copulate, with great force. After watching for probably only a few minutes, Moelicker went outside and picked up the dead duck while the second duck stood a few feet off and quacked in resentment. He then meticulously recorded the dead duck's measurements, threw it in the freezer, and, like some sort of bizarre judge sentencing a rapist, came to the conclusion that one may argue that the copulation was not rape, but the act was non-consensual anyhow. Number 2. Men like breasts. The study, Bust Size and Hitchhiking, a field study. Imagine a world where all breasts are the same size. It would be chaos, or worse, mildly frustrating, and it would make hitchhiking entirely too repetitive. Because as Nicholas Ginn discovered in 2007, men are more likely to pick up female hitchhikers who have larger breasts. In a mad rush to prove the obvious, Professor Ginn stationed a young female beside a road in France and waited while 1,200 people stopped to pick her up. The woman was wearing a bra that could be adjusted to change the appearance of her bust size, and 24% of the passing male motorists offered her a ride when it was set to C, compared to only 17.79% for the B cup and 14.92% for A. In a surprising Kafkaesque twist, women showed no preference. Number 1. Chickens prefer beautiful humans. The study, Chickens prefer beautiful humans, ugly people take heat, chickens dislike you. In one of the most unnecessary studies ever, researchers trained chickens to react to human faces of the opposite sex. Hens were trained to react to male faces, and cocks to female faces. Be mature. The pictures were displayed on a touch-sensitive screen, and reactions were measured by the number of times the chicken pecked the screen. Then, and this is where it gets weird, the researchers began to insert more attractive faces into the picture rotation, faces that had previously been rated on attractiveness by human volunteers. Without a single variation, the chickens got more excited about the attractive faces than anything else, giving extra preference to the exact same faces that the humans rated as most attractive.